Hey, good morning. Oh, what's going on? What's going on? Yeah. Hey, what's up? What's up? What is going on? Today is okay, today's already been quite the day. Let's just get acclimated to this morning right now. Oh, big yawn coming up. Ooh, alright. Yeah, so I didn't plan on doing a morning stream today, but given the circumstances of what transpired yesterday, well, I mean, it kind of warrants it, I guess. I mean, shoot, yesterday I literally could not, well, I tried to stream Armored Core 6. The problem with Armored Core 6 and my computer is that apparently my computer just cannot handle it. Yeah, I guess my computer just can't handle streaming Armored Core 6 and also, like, and playing it at the same time. So, yeah, that's not gonna be in the cards anymore, unfortunately. Man, you would think with at least, like, 7 cores on my computer and, like, a 3070 slapped in there with, like, maybe it's my board. Well, my board is fine. It can support like newer, well, it can support more things than I thought it would, but still though, I don't think it's actually that up to par yet. Well, yet no, I don't think it's gonna be up to par like from this point onward. Maybe it's my CPU. I have no clue, but yeah, we were chunking a lot during that stream, and unfortunately, well, actually, during the stream, I said I was gonna try and see if it was actually the fact that I was streaming that Armored Core 6 was performing not that well. And it turns out, yes, that is basically the case. Yeah, that is basically the case of what happened. So, yeah, we're not gonna be doing Armored Core 6 streams anymore because, well, I just need to get a new setup. And I don't have the money for that, or will have the money for that in the near future, maybe even far from it. So I'm kinda bottlenecked on what I can actually do. Maybe, like, games like a couple of years ago. Maybe that. Actually, I could stream games from, like, last year, that's fine. I could still stream, like, Neo 2 and stuff like that, that's no problem. But, yeah, games like Armored Core 6 and probably Starfield, I guess. Yeah, nah, can't do it. Oh well. It is what it is. I will say, though, that Armored Core 6 has been super fun so far. I've gotten a little bit farther off-stream. I just unlocked the arena, and I'm about to fight the first 3 opponents so I can go and get some, OS chips so I can actually do a little bit more tuning to my mech. Problem here, though, is, I've already gotten the bug of just wanting to make several different setups because, you know, that it's Armored Core. That's what you're supposed to do. That's what you're supposed to do. You're not supposed to stick to one build. One build does not fit all. There are so many missions in the game that require, well, I wouldn't say require, but it heavily incentivizes you to just change up your build because, hey man, a missile boat isn't gonna, well, a vertical missile boat is not gonna do well in an area where it's literally, like, the ceiling is just a few inches from your head. I don't think there's a mission like that, actually, in the game, but that's the most extreme example, and a thing that can definitely be very possible. Can't shoot missiles vertically if they're gonna hit the ceiling, right? So, gotta change up your build at least somewhat there. However, that being said, I do have a set of builds that I think I'm gonna be pretty good with. I think these kinds of builds are going to encompass a wide variety of situations. I'm not gonna create like 40 different builds for like, okay, this is for mission 1, this one's for mission 17, this one's for mission 20, this is the optimal build for mission 21. No, I'm not gonna do that. I want to play the builds I like. And this game is perfect for somebody like me who likes to play different builds literally every so often. Yeah. I can't dedicate myself to just one build. So, yay! Unfortunately, because of TwitX, I've come to call it that, I have unfortunately gotten spoiled on one of the weapons that I am able to get a bit farther into the game, and well, here's the thing. It's not really that much of a spoiler. In fact, you could say that it's just, well, not a spoiler at all, because this has been a staple of Armored Core since the first game. Yeah, I actually saw the Karasawa. I didn't actually get to see it being fired, but I got to see what it looks like, and it is definitely a Karasawa. It has the similar design of every Karasawa before it. So yeah, that's not surprising. The Karasawa, for those of you that don't know, is a staple laser rifle that has been in Armored Core since the first game, so the fact that this game has it is completely not surprising at all. So it's not really that much of a spoiler. The only thing I was spoiled on is how it looks like, and that's not really much of a spoiler anyway, because it looks exactly like how I thought it was gonna look like anyway, because the Karasawa does not really change its design that much. All that it changes its design on is, well, maybe it changes its visual, like, according to the generation it's in, but the shape of, like, the rifle is almost always the same. Maybe a little bit bulky here, maybe not too bulky over there, but it really just doesn't really change its overall shape. So, not really that much of a spoiler. I was about to get spoiled on the Moonlight Sword, though, of the game, and that one, though, I did hear some talk about it. That's all I'm gonna say. I'm gonna keep that one under wraps for myself until I actually get it, but in my opinion, either it's going to look like how it does in... I would say it's probably going to look like how it does in maybe Armored Core 4. Maybe it's going to share that design shape of it. Or, for all I know, it could basically just be like a massive crescent sword like it was in like AC5. And if it is, unfortunately, I don't think the Moonlight Sword in that game was any good, though. I don't think the Moonlight Sword in that game was any good, so that is very disappointing if it turns out to be that case. Let me just get... I just want the Moonlight Sword to just go back to being, like, you know, just a pulse blade kind of thing. Like how it is in basically every other Armored Core except in, like, 5. Yeah. I just want it to be like that. I'm probably not going to get it until much later into the game. But maybe I have to get S ranks on like so many missions before I can get it. I have no clue. All I will say though is that the game is fun so far. I'm already doing completionist stuff, even though I'm definitely not a completionist. So that's basically a tell of how I'm gonna view this game by the end of the year. I don't know if this is going to be my game of the year yet. I still have not finished Baldur's Gate 3. Speaking of Baldur's Gate 3, though, and Game of the Year, once the Game Awards happen this year, I have a strong feeling that, compared to what I thought at the beginning of the year, when I was thinking, like, oh, yeah, Game of the Year is going to be the Hogwarts or something like that. Well, to my surprise and to my relief, it looks like Baldur's Gate 3 might be the game. Just like how Elden Ring last year, like, swept Game of the Year from, I think, God of War Ragnarok. I believe Baldur's Gate 3 is gonna be, like, the Game of the Year for people. Unless Starfield's good. If Starfield actually is good, despite being, you know, probably gonna be the typical buggy Bethesda fare that people just seem to just admire. It might be Starfield. Who knows? That's me shooting in the dark, and I don't know how big Starfield is gonna be. I do think, though, it's gonna be bigger than I do think it's going to be bigger than Armored Core, though. Armored Core, despite getting great numbers, like the first, its first, like, week so far, I think there was, like, 150,000 concurrent players on Steam at its peak. That's pales in comparison to Baldur's Gate 3, which was at, what, 930, like, K or something? At its peak, maybe 980. But that's Armored Core 6 still is considered the fourth, still has, like, I think at its peak, the fourth highest concurrent players, I think in the year so far. So if AC6 is like fourth, that just gives perspective on just how big Baldur's Gate 3 was and is still. I mean, people are still raving up about Baldur's Gate 3, which, in my opinion, is very well deserved. So if Baldur's Gate 3 wins Game of the Year in a very dubious reward show, I just think all reward shows are very dubious anyway. So take this with a grain of salt. If it does win, then very well deserved. Probably the most well deserved in the year, I guess, up to this point, and hopefully by the end of it, yeah, people are going to be talking about Baldur's Gate 3 for a while, and because of how many people are playing it, and the community it's already gathered so far, I wouldn't be surprised if fan support for this game is going to continue for a very long time with modding. I'm very excited for how the mods are going to be for Baldur's Gate 3. And speaking of mods, same thing for Armored Core 6. It uses the same engine as Elden Ring, so there's not really a lot of reverse engineering needed to get some mods to work. I am excited for people porting certain things from Armored Core into, like, Elden Ring, and then vice versa. That would be hilarious. I could just imagine the Tarnished, like, fighting, the final boss of, like, Chapter 1. That would be just insane. That would be funny, though. That would be really funny. But anyway, yeah. That's news on the Armored Core front. I'm gonna be playing it off stream. I haven't gotten to the point where I've unlocked PvP yet. I haven't gotten to that point. I have not heard a lick of what the meta is for, like, PvP encounters, so this is gonna be very surprising when I finally get to PvP, and then I hop into it, and then I just get Gatling tanked or something. Yeah, from what I can understand from a little bit of hearsay here and there, it seems that tanks are indeed a pretty strong option, especially versus bosses. It seems like tanks are a very strong option against bosses, at least, or like PvE content. And lightweights are essentially like, you have to be really good at this. You have to be really good at playing a lightweight. Basically, lightweights are like high skill ceiling, and then Gatling tanks are like low skill ceiling. It's about like that kind of paradigm right there. Which, you know, I don't know, to me it kind of makes sense. That still isn't, it isn't out of the ballpark when it came to at least AC Verdict Day, I think. Verdict Day, when I was fighting, like, bosses, I always used a Gatling tank anyway, because, I mean, the tankiness, tankiness plus the ability to just, like, load yourself out with some very high ordnance weapons. You don't really care about the mobility because you're going to be tanking it anyway. It just made sense. I would not play, like, a lightweight against Neo White Glint at the end of, like, Verdict Day. I would not do that. Well, probably because I'm just not good at playing lightweights in Verdict Day. I just wasn't good at it at all. But yeah, I could play a mean tank. Even though tanks and AC6 are very different. In fact, I think tanks and AC6 are the best tanks have ever been so far in the series. Already. from what I've seen, from what I've heard, and from what I've played myself, even though it's only been like what? I've only played like tank treads, maybe like a little bit. Tanks right now are the best they've ever been. And also quads as well. The hover capability of like quads really do help out like that leg type. Even though that leg type is, I think quads were already like pretty good anyway. I don't know which game they were actually meta in, but I think like quads were like solid just like in general, especially in AC1. AC1, I wouldn't be surprised. I wouldn't be surprised if people, once they got the ability to put quads on their like AC, they basically just slap those on and throughout the rest of the game. Yeah, it would just, at a casual level, it really seemed like a straight upgrade. But yeah, anyway, I digress. I'm gonna be playing AC6 off stream. Probably expect more of these kinds of streams every so often. I'm not gonna do them every day because I really just don't have much topics to talk about every day, maybe every other day at most. But yeah, just expect these once in a while. Maybe I'll play a game here and there. Probably WWE 2K23, even though I don't know about streaming that game because I only streamed that game maybe a handful of times back before my long hiatus, and I was basically spending so much time creating and editing wrestlers. But I think it might work now because I have gotten my mind around how to quickly edit certain things about like a character's moveset, their personality traits, and attributes and all that stuff. So, hey, it might work. It might actually work. It actually might work. I have no clue. I just hope it. I hope that kind of stream would actually work good. But yeah, I might do that. But I like doing this stuff. I think I just like talking because the problem with me and multitasking is that I get very distracted easily. So if I get distracted by a game, my commentary capabilities just like sink, or they have a very high capability. Well, they have a very high possibility of just sinking because I just get so focused. And that doesn't work either with the fact that I can't multitask very well. I have to like re-emphasize that. Yeah. Oh well. I think it'll be fine. It's not like I'm doing this on a super serious level. This is just something that I just do from time to time, just so I can. Oh, are we back? Okay, my stream dropped there for a second. Let me check my stream health. Hell, it still says it's excellent. So I'll just believe YouTube's word on that. Anyway. Ooh, I just had a thought. I want to use this screen like more often. The problem with using this screen is that I want to. I don't know. I don't know how to think about this. I like myself in the corner here because it gives me the opportunity to just put something at the top left here. But I don't know. I feel like I could use, like, for example, what was it? This stream? Oh, I forgot to take this off. This is something we're gonna be doing later on in the stream. But yeah, I was thinking of using this stream if I just want to showcase like a window or something. So outside of that, though, I could use my just chatting like streams to be like this background or this one. This one is just smooth. This one is like, it's more like comfy, I guess. I don't know yet. If I did want to use this, I'm gonna have to move a couple of things around. Part of me wants to just move myself more towards the left so I can be center. I could be in the center, yeah. But I don't know yet. Maybe this is something I'll tweak a little bit off stream. And by tweak, I mean just very lightly tweak. Like, actually very lightly tweak. Sorry about that. Big yawn right there. But no, at one point I was thinking of changing the background to something else. But issue is that I'm just gotten very comfortable with using this background. I like the whole like I can't call it cyberpunk, industrial punk or something. I have no clue. I have no clue about most things, if you couldn't tell. But yeah, I just like the look of it, plus the night city in the background. Yeah, I really like it. It's very cold but comfy at the same time, and I'm not saying comfy because there's a huge ass Christmas tree behind me. No, I just think, like, even without the Christmas tree, this is very cold yet comfy. I don't know, I just like the aesthetic. I just like a futuristic like aesthetic, so that's just my thing. That's just my thing. Yeah, maybe I could use that or just this during the stream. But anyway, actually, you know what? We can move. I can move on to this. Very rough transition, but I want to do a short tier list here, and it's not because there's any cause for doing it. Really, I just want to see, like, if this can work out. Like, me doing this. Because before, when I did media share streams, well, I called them media share streams, but I guess you could just say that, hey, if I was using this screen and then just had this window just emblazoned to, like, the top left here, it really didn't work out because when I tried to free transform the panel, it just didn't end up looking good. Maybe because I'm just scaled really, like, large here, so because of how scaling works in OBS, it just doesn't work out. It just really doesn't work out. Yeah, that's why I think something like this is better. So yeah, we could just try it out this way. What tier list am I gonna do? I mean, this is just game controllers. This is what I think are the best game controllers ever. Even though this doesn't encompass all the game controllers, though, I really want to find one that just encompasses all the game controllers. Give me a second, actually. Because this isn't all the game controllers that were ever, like, released. I want... where is it? Wow, okay, that's terrible. Ah, there we go. This is much better. At least, I think it's like much better. We'll just do this one. Here, let me go and change it to presentation mode. This is where I tell people my opinions on certain things. Also, I just realized we are not playing Rhythm Sprout. What is that? Was that my last stream? Oh my god, was my last stream actually Rhythm Sprout? Wow. Let's just do that. Let's just do this. Let's just, there we go. And, okay, we're good. We are good. Oh, actually, I need to change this too. It's not this anymore. It is, let's see. There we go. Alright, we are cooking now. If I was, okay, I say we're cooking, but we're cooking with basically a light flame. That's what this stream has been so far, and that's fine. So, let's just do this. Okay, well, I'm gonna go through this pretty quick because I'm already at the 30-minute mark, and there's other things I want to touch on before we hit the hour mark and I end today. Let's see. What controls do we have here so far? Okay, I'm not going to go down the list. I'm going to see what catches my eye, and I can immediately think, okay, this goes into this tier because it's great or awful or just trash. Original Xbox controller, that is an awful controller. I am very sorry, but the original Xbox controller was so bad. Like actually so bad. It was so bulky. And why were the face buttons, like, slanted like that? Why did the Xbox logo in the center... It was literally just a huge stamp. You couldn't even press this. This was just a huge bubble stamp in the middle of the controller. All that real estate right there could have been used to just make the placement of all the buttons, like, so much, like, closer. And it would have reduced the size of the dumpy here. But... for just encompassing everything about this controller, this is a D tier controller because it was just so poorly designed in my opinion. And it didn't work for me because I didn't have, like, I don't have big hands at all. I have small hands. Also, where did my background music go? Let me grab my background music again. Because I forgot to put the background music on this page too, so let's do that. Boom! Alright, we got the background music back. Let's go. Let's see. PS4 controller. I would say the PS4 controller is a pretty good controller. I would not put it above A at most, because in my opinion, I think that the PS2 controller... Why do you have, like, 3 different, like, PlayStation controllers down here? They're all literally the same thing. Like, the PS1 controller compared to the PlayStation 2 controller, it's just literally the same. So, okay, in my opinion, right there, behind it is that. I'm still a big fan of the original PS2 controller, and that kind of design philosophy. And I don't know why they just have 2 different, well, 2 of the same type of controller here. Because the PS1, a later gen PS1 controller is literally the same as, like, PS2. It's still a DualShock 2. If they had, like, an original PlayStation controller without the 2 sticks, then I would put that. Ooh, I would actually put that maybe at B or C. But since I don't have it, I'm not going to put it up there. Oh, the Wiimote and Nunchuck. Okay, so for the games this was designed for, I will say that it was okay at best. Okay at best. And that's a very weak at best. Yeah, it's down here. For any other game, why would you use this? Why would you use this controller? Especially if you had this one, the GameCube controller. The GameCube controller, in my opinion, is one of my personal favorite controllers. Like, I like the clickiness of the shoulder buttons. I like the placement of the buttons here too. I would say that I'd say the design of this is very good. I don't know, it's on the same tier as PS2 for me. It's on the same tier as PS2. It felt... okay, okay, you know what? Maybe I'll do it like this. They're all very close. I like how it feels to hold a DualShock 2 controller compared to, like, a GameCube, but the only reason I'm so used to, like, the GameCube is because I played so much, like, Smash Brothers that I just got used to, like, how this feels in the hand. But if I were to just be, like, a casual game player and I held both of these kinds of controllers, or, like, all 3, I would say that this one would feel more comfortable than the GameCube. But GameCube controller still has a very close space in my heart, so... And that's just because of Smash. And also because GameCube had banger games as well. And also it had compatibility with the Wii, so... You know what? Maybe I actually would put this a bit higher. The compatibility part with the Wii, The fact that it had GameCube ports on it was actually really cool, especially now in hindsight. Yeah, I'm probably gonna put it up here. Okay, Game Boy. Okay, this tier list is solely based on how it is as a controller rather than it as a console in itself. Because for me, I wouldn't even put the Game Boy on a tier list because I just didn't have a Game Boy. But I have held a Game Boy of my cousin's before. And in my opinion, it's okay. It's very simple. So, it's not a bad design in hindsight. I have a lot of respect for what the Game Boy did for like handheld gaming. It's just that these days, if you put one in my hand, it's just gonna feel like that. It's just gonna feel okay. DS though, I would say it's around the same. Yeah, I would say it's around the same. I don't know. I don't really like stylus. Consoles or like controllers that require. Well, the stylus is part of the controller, right? The stylus is part of the controller. And I don't like the stylus, basically. It was great for the games that required the stylus, but yeah. You know what? Speaking of that, though, I guess I could put the 3 discs here. I could go put the 3 discs here. Well, no, this is the 3 discs. This is just the disc. So the DS under the 3DS, and I like the 3DS because of the addition of the analog control stick right there. Even though it's not very durable, it breaks after so much use. So it's just a weak. This one goes above DS. It's just a very weak version of that. So just because of the addition of it. Other than that, they're about the same to me. Let's see. Ooh, this is gonna be a hot take. Or maybe, like, a really cold one. I don't like the Dreamcast controller. And this is my favorite console, too. The Dreamcast is my favorite console in terms of design, aesthetic, the games, well, the design of the games, well, the art direction of the games that were on the console, like Sega at the time. I just like the whole look of the Dreamcast and the games that you could play on it. The one thing I didn't like about it was the controller. And I think I hated it more than the original Xbox because here's the problem with the Dreamcast controller. Here's the problem with it. It has the bulkiness problem. It has the button spacing problem. There is like this huge space in the center that could have been used for better. And not only that, the cord that comes out of the controller is through the bottom. In my opinion, that just sucks. In my opinion, that just sucks. There's a reason why most of the other controls here, if they have a cord, it comes out the top. Dreamcast was probably, I think, one of the only ones that where the cord came out of the bottom. And yeah, because of that, yeah, it really didn't last long for me. Like, the cord got damaged like over time. I don't know why, but I think the placement of it really like did its part in it. I did like the VMU memory card thing with it though, how the VMU memory card had its own like little games on it as well. That's a really cool addition to the Dreamcast, and I think that kind of like cancels out, in my opinion, the placement of the cord, but I still would prefer the original Xbox controller of the Dreamcast controller. But I had to deal with it, and it says something when, despite dealing with it, Dreamcast is still my favorite console. So there we go. Here's one, the Wii U. I don't like it. I don't like the Wii U. This one goes without saying, but one, the controller itself, it was, okay, I would say it's decent, but it is heavy. Because the Wii U is a console in and of itself. So you can't really, like, get around the fact that you can't really not consider like the weight of it all. The Wii U was just heavy. So, in my opinion, okay, maybe it's a little bit better than the Wiimote and Nunchuck. So at least I'll put it up there. Oh, here we go. This right here, the NES controller, B. So the thing about the NES controller, actually, I'll do it like that. The SNES and NES controller are up here for me. Both of them feel pretty good to hold, even though they're a bit smaller than other controllers. When you hold one of these, it doesn't feel bad at all. Even as someone who just casually plays games, which I'm not, mind you. Yeah, just holding these doesn't really feel that bad, and the placement of the buttons and everything, it makes sense, and they're not too far from each other, so those are completely solid controllers. Not my favorites though, but completely solid. Can't really rate that one or this one. So let's see. Where's something here that I can rate? I mean, I'm not gonna rate like the actual SNES controller, because these two are basically like the same, so just whatever SFC30 is, just rate that the same as the actual SNES controller. Okay, the PSP and Vita. Okay, I've never had a PSP or a PS Vita, but I have played a bunch from like friends and cousins, and in my opinion, this one feels great, actually. I really like this one. I really like the PS Vita. And this is, okay, then the PS Vita as a controller and as a console. I'm going to add in and as a console here. This feels like a handheld I would have loved if I ever had it. And that's saying something. Like, I look at all the games that were released on, like, the PSP and Vita, and it's like, wow. These are my aesthetic. Like, these are actually my aesthetic. I like the look of games in that era of, like, gaming, and at that quality, because it still reminds me that these are games. They're just very gamey games. And that's just fantastic to me. I don't know, it's a really weird way to describe it. I don't think I described it really well. But, yeah. Maybe I'm just putting too much value in it as like a console rather than a controller. As a controller, I guess I would say it's like this. Yeah, I'll probably say, no, I'd still put it higher. Yeah, I'd still put it up here. So as a controller, solely as a controller, I'd put it up here. And we can add in the PSP there as well, because there's really not much of a difference, right? Well, I mean, there is the addition of like another control stick on there, but yeah, it's fine. I'll just put the Vita up there. Oh, these trash. No, not even. Yeah, not even. I don't like those, especially with Joy-Con drift. Nah, that just killed it for me. No. Yeah. Switch nunchucks? No, absolutely not. If you had a single one, it would go even lower. Pro controller though, this one is actually solid. I would say this one is solid. It's actually a really, like, it is a simple design, but it's functional. It is a super functional design. It makes sense. In fact, I would say it's even better than like the GameCube. Just strictly from like a controller standpoint, it's actually, I think it's better than the GameCube. Even though I haven't really held one as much, I can already tell by like the way everything is laid out here that, yeah, this is just a much more like intuitive GameCube design. Yeah, I would say that. And let's see, N64. God, I hate the N64 controller. This is one of my favorite consoles too. How come my favorite consoles had like the worst controllers? Nah, it's down here. That design is just atrocious. Yeah, the N64 controller design is just atrocious. So, I don't know. What more can I say about it? The overall shape of it, the weird like buttons up here. Like, these are supposed to be like, this is the control stick of like that era. and just think about having the the control stick right here to the top right of the face buttons. Just think of it that way, and it just is just weird. And plus, with the way you're supposed to hold the controller, you can't really. It's really awkward to move like your finger over to like the D-pad right here when you need to use it. And yeah, the controller just was too bulky, in my opinion. I think the shape and the bulkiness of the controller that's what made it atrocious for me. And well, the control face buttons here. Yeah, those. Let's see. I think there's only one more left I can put up here. Yeah. That. Really, that. Ooh, excuse me. I need some water. But yeah, Xbox 360 controller, S tier. That goes without saying. This is literally probably the best controller that has ever been released for console gaming. A totally unbiased opinion right here. Even though tier lists are absolutely biased opinions, 100%. But yeah, a lot of people share the same opinion with me. But it really is like, a really good controller. Like, there's a reason why they're bringing back this controller for a limited time for the Series X, I think. That's the Xbox console we're on, right? I've been off the Xbox train for like over a decade already, but there's a reason why they're bringing this one specifically back, this design. I know it's a third-party company making it too, though. But yeah, there's a reason why this is being brought back. It was just such a good controller. Now, speaking of that kind of controller, though, wait a minute. This controller too is pretty solid. It's basically the same as a Nintendo as a Switch Pro controller. Actually, there's not really much difference. Like, these three are essentially, to me, the ideal layout for a controller. Yeah. Yeah, now looking at the Series like X and the Xbox 360 controller, yeah, these are just really solid designs. In fact, I probably want to get one of these just to use on, for like PC. Because right now I'm using a PS4 controller for PC. I meant to get, at some point, an Xbox controller to use for PC because it's just like a solid controller. Yeah, maybe I'll just do that. But yeah, that's the list right here. It isn't all of the controllers. I'm only putting controllers that I've actually like held on here. But yeah, what matters is that these three are probably the S tier controllers of all the controllers released for gaming so far. Just that. There you go. That's my list. Let's go back here. Actually, let's go back here. Yeah, that took a minute. That's great. I don't know, it's weird. I did that just to test out like how that's going to like work if I ever did more tier lists. And hey, it was fine. I think it was fine. Yeah, I think it was fine. I could make it better though. In fact, one of the ways I can make it better though is, what if I try to be a bit more funny? But that's just not me though. I like elaborating on things. I like elaborating on things and talking things in this way. It's not a very like, how do I describe it? I would say my humor comes out when I am hanging out with people. When I'm hanging out with people, that's when my humor actually like comes out in like full force. Cause for me, when I try to be funny, it's always in response to someone. It's always in response to someone. I am not an initiator. I think, oh yeah, that's probably the best way to describe it. I am not an initiator. I am more like a response guy. So, yeah. I think that's one of the things I should try to, like, be better about in terms of like being entertaining, I guess. But I don't know. It's weird because you want to do that. Okay, well, I want to do that, but I don't want to force it. If I force it, then it's just going to come off as like really awkward. But if I don't put a solid effort towards it, then I'm just never going to improve in that aspect, right? It's always a balancing act, but hopefully I actually end up having like a humor at some point. Hopefully I end up being funny at some point. Not necessarily for my sake, but yeah, actually for my sake. Because I watch back my VODs, and if I'm not laughing, then I will actually fall asleep to them. But then again, I fall asleep to most videos I watch anyway, especially when I'm laying in bed. I should really stop watching my VODs when I'm laying in bed. That's probably gonna be an important thing to do. Yeah, anyway, I digress. We got that off the list. What else have I been doing? Oh, yeah. So, actually, this involves AC6 again, but not in the way you think. I actually took yesterday night and the night previous to that off just so I can play like AC6. Well, I shouldn't say that. It was partially because of AC6 and partially because I just got stressed so much that I needed time off away from work. Yeah, that's one of the main reasons why I took like the days off that I did. It's just because I just got extremely like stressed and I needed to just I just need to shut myself away from like everything for a minute just so I can like calm down. Yeah, that's just a thing with me that kind of just happens. Yeah, especially when I don't have like an outlet to really calm myself down for like a while. So maybe I could have just gone to work these like previous nights, but I felt like that this was needed. Unfortunately, even though I intended it for my days off that I took to be a staycation of some sort, I still ended up going out because I just couldn't help it. Yeah, I just ended up going out because I just couldn't help it, but okay, this time it was beneficial. Every time I went out at during other previous vacations, even though part of me didn't want to, it ended up going like so-and-so, but this time it was great. This time it was actually pretty fine. And it wasn't even that, like, grandiose of a hangout anyway, because I was just hanging out with the family, and the thing is, we ate at a really good, like, Chinese place that had probably some of the best fried, like, Chinese donuts that I've had so far where I live. And the fried donuts thing I think it had like slight cream filling in it, but it had the condensed milk dipping and stuff like that. That kind. For those of you that actually know about it, but yeah, that was great. But also dumplings. Dumplings are never not great. So, I was filled, and after that we went bowling. But the thing about bowling, though, is that this time I chose not to bowl. This time I actually chose not to bowl. And I think that was the best choice I could have made in that moment. Because for me, even though I do like bowling, I know that with my style of like throw, I will actually just screw up like my knee really badly. Because for context, when I toss the ball, I actually drop down on my knee when I toss the ball. And just think about it. Think of how many sets there are in one game. Think about how many throws there are in like one game of bowling, and like multiply that by like I think 2 or 3 like sets, and then end up with a recipe for just screwing up your knee for the next week. Yeah, that's what happened for me at AnimeCon. Well, no, AX. Why'd I call it AnimeCon? Anime Expo. That's what happened to me at Anime Expo. Because I went bowling, like, the day before I left, at Anime Expo, I had to walk with, like, a limp for, like, I think, a day and a half. Because my knee was just jacked up that badly. See, it was at points like that where I really wish I got that, like, you know, do you know there's, like, this, like, sleeve that you can put on your knee? That kind of thing, an athletic sleeve or something. I wish I had one of those at that moment. I wish I had one of those. Yeah, it was pretty bad. It was pretty bad. So this time I decided not to bowl, and then I decided to just well, I decided to play at the arcade at the bowling alley a little bit, and unfortunately it didn't have games I was really interested in. Because really, when I go to the arcade now, I either play like a hand-based rhythm game, so nothing like DDR and stuff like that. Either I do that, or I play racing games. The problem with the racing games at this small arcade that they have in like a little corner at the alley is that the only one that was really interesting to me is Mario Kart DX. And let me tell you, I've never played Mario Kart DX like that closely, but after getting into racing games more, I basically just saw how gutted Mario Kart as an arcade game is. It's super gutted. Like, okay, so here's how Mario Kart DX like works. So when you're selecting like you can select, well, the main differences in Mario Kart DX is that when you the whole item system is so like weird. And the reason for it is because you actually determine the set of items you can get from the random blocks, from the item blocks. You actually determine that the item set that you get via a slot machine gacha system when you select your character. So via this system, you get a random card as well, actually. You get a random card, a random set of items that, and these items are categorized in a buff item, a throw forward item, and a throw back item. Yeah, that's how they compensated for not really having the capability to use a control stick to throw forward or back, or like hold an item. Yeah, that's how they did it. And that is so weird to me, because I'm so used to being able to choose like my cart. I'm definitely used to just having the whole set of like of items you can use like available to me. And for them to introduce this kind of system with the arcade game is so, I don't know, so weird. It's so weird to get used to, because there are certainly some items that are just better than others. There's certain items that are just so much better than others. So if you roll bad on like the gacha system, then you're just screwed. Yeah, then you're just basically screwed. But yeah, another really disappointing thing about DX though, man, the courses are so easy. They're actually super easy. One of the big problems with Mario Kart like arcade is that there's no obstacles. There's actually no obstacles whatsoever. Like I played on the most difficult tracks of Mario Kart arcade, and there's no obstacles at all. It's just a straight race, and the only obstacles are items. That's it. Everything you see, every visual piece that you see is all set pieces. Yeah, they're just set pieces. There's literally no obstacles at all. And obstacles are a big part of, well, I wouldn't say the biggest part, but they are definitely large parts of the actual Mario Kart like experience. And for it to just not be there is very jarring. It's super jarring, especially after you realize it after playing like a couple of sessions like at the cabinet. Maybe I just haven't been playing the right tracks, but especially with the Bowser stages, the ones I played did not have any like obstacles at all. And that's just weird to me. Yeah. Visually though, the game is great. Like all the set pieces that I just said, they're really like very, very nice to see as you're like racing through the track. I think like those set pieces are probably some of the best set pieces I've seen in a Mario Kart game, but that's really the only like good part that I can say about like the whole race experience, because the whole race experience you're not actually racing at 150cc. It feels like you're racing at 100cc at best, but I wouldn't be surprised if you were racing at 50. Yeah. It feels like the arcade game was essentially made for, like completely made for kids. Yeah, it really seems like the arcade cabinet was basically made for kids. And I would understand that, especially when you have a system where, oh, a kid is playing and he can't reach the gas pedal, so the cart will actually just, maybe you press a button for this, but the cart will just go off on its own. You don't have to hit the gas pedal or anything. That's how we can get kids to play, and it's like, that's actually kind of nice that they do have that kind of system, because I've noticed a lot of kids actually really, really like playing the racing games. One of the big problems with that is that kids are small. They can't reach the gas pedal or the brake pedal like most of the time. So just having a system like that where you don't have to hit the gas pedal, you could just go. You could just use the steering wheel. That's actually really nice. That's actually really nice. So props to Nintendo for doing that, or whoever the company is that actually made that Mario Kart. But other than that, I would say that's not my favorite Mario Kart experience. It's pretty weak. It is actually kind of weak. Yeah. But yeah, outside of that though, after I played a couple of sessions of that, I just decided to just chill out in the booth while my folks bowled a couple of sets, and that was, I think it was at that moment that I actually felt like truly relaxed, like in the day. It was super relaxing. Yeah. I don't know. It just felt super relaxing to just be the person that's just sitting in like the corner there and just looking at people just like having fun. I think I might do that for the next time too. It also kind of helps that I was trying to avoid my knee getting jacked up too. So I don't gotta deal with that, especially at work. Oh god, if I had to deal with a jacked up knee at work, that is, oof. That wouldn't be a fun rest of the work week, because hey, I gotta go back to work tonight. Yeah, I gotta get back to work tonight and tomorrow night. But yeah, it's whatever. I made the choice to take 2 days off anyway. So at least I go back into work feeling a bit refreshed. So that's great. Oh, okay, we've hit the hour mark. So I guess that's gonna be it for this morning. I'm gonna go and like eat some breakfast. Thanks for dropping by, whoever did. The VOD will go up immediately after the stream, as per YouTube streaming, whatever have yous. So for anyone that actually comes across the stream, I hope you just chill to it. I'm not saying to enjoy it. Maybe you won't enjoy it because of my very bad controller opinions, but yeah, just have it on the background. I would really appreciate it. Anyway, I'm off. I'll have another stream again at some point. Just when I can. Just when I can, when I have the energy for it. I really do like having like morning ZATSUs. This has been really relaxing so far, so I might do that. Actually, in hindsight, maybe it's relaxing because I didn't just come off of work like last night. So that probably helped a lot. Yeah. we'll see what happens the next time this does happen. We'll see how I feel. But outside of that, yeah, I'm gonna go. Take care. I'm gonna go and eat some breakfast. I'll see you next time.